All right, beautiful. Hey guys, my name is John Godwin. I wanted to record a quick tutorial video on how to process receptionist payroll. I know for a lot of the managers, this may be unfamiliar, something that you haven't done. In the past, we used to do it manually and on paper, and we have a program to do the entire thing through Vector Live right now. So what I'm going to do here is share my screen, and I'll walk you through exactly how I do it as I do it for real for my current receptionist. It's as I'm doing this, it's February 18th, and I'm getting ready to do the payroll for the week. So first things first, you want to have a system for tracking your hours of when your receptionist worked. For me personally, I like to track them on a desk calendar. I put the receptionist's initials and the hours that they are scheduled to work on there. Makes it very easy for me to look at, although you could use any system, an Excel spreadsheet, Google Calendar, lots of ways that you can do it. That's the one that I like, is manual, pencil and paper. However, I'm going to show you on Vector Live here. If you're ever uncertain, either A, you didn't write down when the receptionist was supposed to work, or if you just want to confirm that they worked the hours they were scheduled for, you can go, so I'm going quickly, under Vector Live, Custom Reports. You're going to go to the drop-down menu and click on Daily Action Logs and pick the day. Okay, so I'm going to do Sunday the 10th. You can pick your receptionist and hit Get Report. And there's a lot of great information on here. It tells you how many calls they made, how many they reached. Obviously, if they're calling in Vector Live, it records every single action. But if you have paper sheets that they're calling from, like interviews or Top Slice or whatever it is, Vector Live doesn't track that, obviously, unless they're entering it. But the key when you're doing payroll is I look at what time was their first action, right? 3:04 p.m. And what time was their last action? 4:57 p.m. Now, I was here with this receptionist, excuse me, and I know that she actually was working until 8 o'clock, largely with paper. So I had the conversation, and you want to be aware of this, to make sure that she signs in as soon as she gets here, and then to make sure that she signs out before she leaves, so that it's very easy to see. Clock in, clock out, just like a retail place. Makes it very easy to see, to confirm their hours. Excuse me. So once I have the hours, I do like to use a sheet of paper and write everything down, just so it's very easy for me to look at, and I add up the total number of hours. So then all I have to do is enter it in. So to do that, I'm going to go to Control Panel, Offices, and Receptionist Payroll. And this is going to pull up a list of all of my receptionists. And if it says paperwork submitted, it's got a green check. That means that they have submitted their tax forms, and as the employer, I've signed my copy. If there's a red line here, that means they either A, have not done their tax forms, or B, in this case, I know with certainty that this particular receptionist has signed hers, but I need to do the employer signature on my side. Which that's a separate video. So I'm going to go here for Jessica and submit payroll. And you put in the start date of whatever was the first day of the pay period. Now, you can talk to your division manager or district manager about what your program is in your office, but I always pay Monday to Sunday. So Monday to Sunday, and then I do payroll on Monday, lines up with your payday for you. Also, it means that they complete the week, they work the Sunday, which is the busiest day, and then they come in on Monday and get their check, and then they start a fresh work week. So in this case, it's February 18th today. I'm going to start the week on February 11th, and the week ended on February 17th. I've got a check already pulled out, ready to write. So it's number 2815. Check date is being written today. Time worked, I added it all up earlier by checking my calendar and also double checking in Vector Live. So 20 hours even. Hourly rate is the hourly rate. Bonus paid, excuse me. In some cases, and again, talk to your manager before you do it, But in some cases, you'll offer a contest for same-day scheduling or same-day show, or every person who walks in the door. That could be the case. Or in some cases, you'll just say, hey, if you hit a target, I'll get you a mani-pedi gift card or whatever. And then you do have to account for that. So the bonus paid would be the value of the prize that they won. And this week it is 0, but it's not always 0. Now, excuse me, forgive my cough, please. For the taxes, you're going to find the tax withholding sheets. And by the way, when you register them as a receptionist, it automatically sends them the tax form. So they fill this in the process of filling out their tax forms when they do theirs. To get the withholding amount, you go onto Vector Connect. It's under the My Office tab, and it's under running your office. Okay, so when I expand that one, I've got receptionist program and then receptionist forms. Okay, receptionist forms is what I want. These first couple things here, we used to, back in the day, physically print out like an I-9, a W-4, state forms. Unnecessary now. It's all on Vector Live. The ones that you are going to need on a regular basis, though, is your federal and your state. Okay, depending, if you have someone who's married and you're paying them once a week, you can do that. Married, paying them every 2 weeks. Single, paying every 2 weeks. I've always grown up doing it every week. It's not mandatory, but I do know that as a manager, when you're paying bi-weekly, you're writing bigger checks. So I find that by doing it on a weekly basis, the checks don't get overly large, and it's a very easy. We get paid weekly, we pay weekly, very easy, money in, money out to manage. So I do the weekly, and my receptionists are all single, but you use the appropriate form, of course. For state, you find your state in the list, and then same deal. You do married biweekly, married weekly, single weekly, biweekly. If I had to guess, these are 2018 and 2019 forms, may not be there when you go in. Either way, single weekly is what I need. Okay, so this pulls up a table for me. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. I'm going to get rid of this now. By the way, one thing if you're doing payroll every week is you can export as PDF and just save this on your computer, so you can just pull it up and access it. But I wanted to show you where to find it if this is new for you. So where was my thing? Here it is. All right, so federal tax. So gross pay is $240, and she's got 4 exemptions. So I go on my federal form. I find the pay range. The pay range that includes $240. I find 4 exemptions, and you can see there that is the amount. So I put in 0 for federal, and then state is the same. Gross pay, state exemptions. So I go to the state form, and I find the appropriate chart. You always use the higher one. If it's exactly on one, you always use the higher. And then 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so I go over here, and I enter that in. Other tax, it says right here, applies to Arkansas, California, Kentucky, Indiana, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, and Ohio. We are none of those states, so it's just automatically 0. Although if you're watching this and you're in one of those states, not necessarily 0. So I have all the information filled in. What's awesome is it tells me here my net pay, so that is the amount that I write the check for. And then I'll just show you really quick. So I write the amount. I'll fill in the rest of it after I end the tutorial video. But I fill in the amount, write the check out. You always want to make sure to write receptionist on the check so that when your accountant is filing your taxes, or when you're filing your taxes, it's very easy to categorize that this is what that was for, and it gets reported to the IRS properly for tax season. So that's how you do that. And then final tip is I always like to write a little note to them. I share what their numbers are to make sure that they're aware and looking at it. And then I always give something positive. So regardless of what the numbers are, I'm looking at like schedule, show percentage, whatever you're tracking in your area. But in my office, it's schedule, show, and conversion ratio is what we're looking at. So I write them I show the numbers, and then I write a positive little note, just something giving appreciation or recognizing them for something. And then I seal it in an envelope, make sure it's sealed because it does have obviously pay stuff in it. And then I give it to them, and I always have them ready on Monday for the previous week. So that's what I got for you. Hope that was helpful, and I will talk to you again soon. See you.